Scientists discover thousands of new species each year, bringing to light fantastic and strange creatures never before seen by human eyes. Our world is vast, and we have plenty left to discover. So, is it possible, deep within the forests of Colombia, an ape species never before seen or documented? Well, if you believe one man named Loys, then yes. Welcome to the Cryptid Corner, where today we will be taking a look at the cryptid known as the Loys Ape. Between the years of 1917 and 1920, Swiss geologist Francois de Loys led an expedition in the borders of Colombia and Venezuela in search of oil in the Sierra de Pierja mountain range. Unfortunately for de Loys, his expedition was fraught with disaster as he lost many men to both disease and run-ins with the local natives. To be honest, de Loys' expedition was, I wouldn't say a failure, but it definitely was not going well for him, and it would not be until the end, or near the end, of his expedition in 1920 that de Loys would discover something truly fascinating. De Loys claimed that while he and his men were camping near the banks of the Tara River, they were approached by two strange, monkey-looking creatures. According to de Loys, the monkeys stood upright, had no tails, and were quite large. Large enough that de Loys mistook them for bears at first. However, it soon became apparent that these were in fact not bears, as they began to make loud shouting noises and gesturing threateningly with their hands. They even began throwing their own feces at the group. Fearing for their own safety, the group shot one of the creatures, killing it, while the other fled back where it had come from. The team recovered the body, and de Loys studied their kill. From what de Loys could see, the creature looked very similar to a spider monkey, except when he measured its height, he estimated it to be about 5 feet tall, instead of the 3.5 feet most spider monkeys grow up to. On top of that, looking inside its mouth, he counted 32 teeth, compared to the 36 teeth found in most New World apes. De Loys took the carcass and put it up on a wooden crate, propping it up with a stick underneath its chin. He took various photos before skinning the creature and taking its skull back to take with him to Europe. However, fate would not smile on de Loys once again, as he lost the skull to decay and lost all but one of his photos when he capsized in the Tara River. De Loys would eventually return to Europe, but his encounter of the strange monkeys and the single surviving photograph of his discovery would not see the light of day until 1929, when a friend of de Loys, anthropologist George Alexis Montandon, found the photo and believed that de Loys had stumbled upon something fantastic. Montandon believed that de Loys had come across a never-before-seen species of ape, and possibly even a missing link between humans and apes. But we'll get to that after. After much persuasion by Montandon, the pair went to the public with the photo, and Montandon, so sure of his friend's discovery, even gave the mysterious ape a scientific name: Amenthropoidus loysi, or the Loys human-like ape. However, as the discovery went public, things did not go as smoothly as Montandon perhaps thought they would. While the discovery was published in many French scientific magazines, the rest of the world was not so quick to accept this. They believed that what Montandon was proposing was preposterous, and there were many issues with de Loys' testimony. The one shred of physical evidence de Loys had of his encounter was the single surviving photo, and scientists claimed that it was impossible to use it as trustworthy testimony, considering the fact that there was nothing in the photo to scale the creature up to the 5 feet de Loys claimed it was. Most of the community agreed that what was shown in the photo was simply a white-bellied spider monkey that either had its tail obscured from view or removed completely. Things for Montandon and de Loys would only get worse over the years as new evidence came to light. An uncropped version of the photograph would surface years later, showing what some believe to be the stump of a banana tree to the right of the ape. The argument goes that because bananas are not indigenous to South America, de Loys' claim of encountering the two apes deep within the South American jungles is simply implausible. If it wasn't bad enough, Montandon's motives for pushing for de Loys' ape to be considered a new species were discovered to be less than wholesome. As it would turn out, Montandon had a unique, if not racist, view of evolution. He believed different groups of humans evolved from different apes depending on where they were located. He believed Africans evolved from gorillas, Asians evolved from orangutans, and only whites evolved from early Homo sapiens. If the Loys Ape turned out to be real, then he could connect spider monkeys with the indigenous people of the Americas. Yeah, not exactly a wholesome reason to back up the Loys Ape. The final nail in the Loys Ape's coffin would come in 1999, when Venezuelan magazine, and excuse my pronunciation of this, Intercencia, published a letter sent to another magazine in 1962 regarding the whole situation. The letter was sent from Dr. Enrique Tejera, who claimed to be a part of the Loys expedition at the time. This is what he had to say on the matter. "This monkey is a myth. I will tell you his story. Mr. Montandon said that the monkey had no tail. That is for sure, but he forgot to mention something. It has no tail because it was cut off. I can assure you this, gentlemen, because I saw the amputation. Who was speaking here in 1917 was working in a camp for oil exploration in the region of Parija. The geologist was François Deloys, the engineer, Dr. Martin Tovar Lange. Deloys was a prankster, and often we laughed at his jokes. One day they gave him a monkey with an ill tail, so it was amputated. Since then, Deloys called him El Hombre Mono, the Monkey Man. Sometime later, I and Deloys went in another region of Venezuela, in an area called Mene Grande. He always walked along the side of his monkey, who died sometime later. Deloys decided to take a photo, and I believe that Mr. Montandon will not deny that it is the same photograph that he presented today." Well, there we have it. The Loys Ape is almost certainly a hoax. Perhaps a joke made up by Deloys for a little bit of fun, but sensationalized by the racist ambitions of his friend. Believers of the ape, however, do like to point out that the creature picture does have key differences to spider monkeys. The thing people like to point out the most about the picture is that the crate that the spider monkey is propped up on is usually used to transport gasoline, and usually measures to be about 15 inches tall. If that's the case, then this does support the claim that Deloys had that the ape stood around 5 feet. Others point out that the chest and hands are different than that of spider monkeys, as well as a more oval face, lack of an underbite, and a more pronounced forehead. So despite the general consensus being that the Loys Ape is a hoax, there are still believers out there to this day that believe Deloys encountered a unique, unknown species of ape. Personally, I think I'm on the hoax side of things. I just think that there's too little evidence to support the fact that Deloys found a new ape, as well as the fact that there have been no sightings, no reported sightings at least, of anything matching Deloys' description since his discovery in 1920, and I use that term lightly. But please let me know in the description below what your thoughts are on Loys Ape. Thank you for joining me on today's Cryptid Corner. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, share, and possibly even consider subscribing. Stay safe out there, everyone, because we truly live in an unpredictable world.